You know that feeling. The chills, the sweats, the general feeling of weakness. Yeah, we've all been there. It's that universal sign that something is just off. We call it a fever, and almost instinctively we treat it like the enemy. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if a fever isn't the problem, but actually our body's best defense? Let's dig into the surprising truth about why our bodies turn up the heat. So that's the big question, right? Is a fever something we should try to crush the second it appears, a foe we have to defeat, or is it actually a friend, an ally that's helping us fight for our health? Honestly, the answer might just change how you think about being sick forever. Okay, so first things first, let's set our baseline. For what feels like forever, this number, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 Celsius, has been the gold standard for a normal body temp. It's the sweet spot where our bodies are just humming along, happy as can be. But what happens when that number starts to creep up? And this, right here, is the magic number, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Generally speaking, this is what doctors consider the official line in the sand. Once your thermometer hits this mark, your body has officially entered a whole new state of operations. The game has changed. So how does this even happen? Well, it's not random at all. Your body has this incredibly sophisticated internal thermostat, and a fever is a very, very deliberate signal. So let's decode what's actually going on under the hood. Here's probably the most important thing to get straight. The medical term is pyrexia, but what it means is that a fever isn't the illness itself. Nope, it's a symptom. It's a sign that your body's command center, the hypothalamus, this tiny little thermostat deep inside your brain, has made a conscious decision to crank up the heat for a very good reason. Okay, so how does that little thermostat get the memo? Well, when your immune system spots an invader, it releases these special chemical messengers called pyrogens. You can think of pyrogens as emergency flares being shot up into your bloodstream. They travel straight to your brain with one single urgent message: turn up the heat now. It's a full-on, system-wide call to action. And what kinds of things set off these alarms? Well, the list is pretty long, but some of the usual suspects are right here. We're talking about everything from a simple common cold virus to more serious bacterial infections like pneumonia. Heck, even things like immunizations can cause a little fever, and that's just a sign that your immune system is awake, learning, and building up its defenses. And this is where the story gets really fascinating. Instead of looking at a fever as a problem, let's try to reframe it completely. Let's start seeing it as an immune system superpower, the friend that shows up to help you out when you need it most. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't your body malfunctioning. It's a built-in feature. A fever is one of the oldest, most effective tools your body has for fighting off illness. It's a brilliantly evolved defense mechanism. So what's all this heat actually doing? Oh, it's doing a lot. That higher temperature makes it a really nasty, hostile place for many viruses and bacteria to live, which slows down how fast they can multiply. But at the same exact time, it supercharges your own defenses. The heat gets your white blood cells, your body's microscopic soldiers, to move faster and fight harder. It's literally like giving your internal army a home field advantage. But like any powerful tool, it has to be managed correctly. There is a tipping point, a line where this super helpful response can start becoming a problem. So let's look at the other side of the coin. The real danger with a fever isn't the fever itself. The risk comes from how high it gets and how long it sticks around. And this is where we need to be paying attention. And here is the number you need to keep in mind. Once a fever starts to climb above 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 Celsius, we're entering a zone of concern. At these really high temperatures, the heat itself can start to put a lot of stress on the body, leading to things like dehydration and, in some rare cases, can even damage body tissues. So this breaks it down perfectly. You can really see the two faces of fever. On one side, you've got the friend slowing down germs and boosting your immune system, but on the other, you have the potential foe at those really high temperatures, bringing risks like dehydration, confusion, and something called febrile seizures, especially in young kids. It's all about that balance. All right, so knowing all of this, how are we supposed to react? We don't need to be afraid of fever, but we absolutely need to manage it wisely. So let's get into your action plan. Now, this might be the single most important takeaway for dealing with a fever at home. Your primary goal shouldn't be just to force that number on the thermometer back down. The real goal is comfort and care. It's about helping the person feel better while their body is busy doing its important work. For the vast majority of fevers, the plan is actually pretty simple and super effective. 1. Rest and hydrate. Dehydration is a major risk, so drinking lots of fluids is non-negotiable. 2, if someone's really uncomfortable, medications like paracetamol or ibuprofen can be a huge help. And 3, monitor the person, not just the temperature. Pay attention to how they're feeling and acting. But of course, there are definitely times when you need to call in the professionals. These are the red flags. If a fever just won't go away after 3 days, or if it comes with any of these more serious symptoms, like a weird rash, any trouble breathing, a really bad headache, or confusion, that's when it's time to call a doctor, no question. So, after looking at all the evidence, the biology, the pros and the cons, what's the final verdict? What's the answer to our original question? Well, the verdict is in. A fever is not the enemy. It is a helpful, powerful sign that your body's amazing defense system is kicking into high gear. It's a friend that we need to manage with care and respect, not a foe that we need to be afraid of. So, I'll just leave you with this one question. The next time you feel that heat rising, how are you going to see it? As just another miserable part of being sick? Or will you see it for what it truly is? A sign of your body's incredible strength, a defense force hard at work, fighting for you. You know, sometimes perspective is everything.